Our survival story began thousands of years ago when we shared the Earth's surface with other human species. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating journey of how Homo sapiens became the last surviving human species. Through evolution, adaptation, and the challenges we faced, we'll uncover the key factors that allowed our species to thrive while others faded away. But before we proceed, kindly hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up to keep enjoying our amazing contents. With that said, let's keep things moving. We are believed to be the ninth of the Homo species to have existed some 300,000 years ago. The Homo sapiens, commonly referred to as modern humans, originated from Africa and have coexisted with the likes of Homo heidelbergensis, Homo habilis, Homo naledi, Homo erectus, Homo floresiensis, Denisovans, and Neanderthals. These human relatives of ours began to disappear one after the other, leaving us, the Homo sapiens, surviving from 40,000 years back. So how did we become the last man standing? The evolution of Homo sapiens can be traced back to their ancestors, of which one of the most distinguished of them were the Neanderthals, or the Homo neanderthalensis. They lived in Europe and western part of the Asian continent from about 400 to 40,000 years ago. They practiced cultural behaviors like hunting, tool making, burying the dead, and possibly artistic work. The Neanderthals were more crucial in the family tree as they had larger brain sizes and complex brain structures, which contributed to their advanced cognitive abilities. However, their bigger brains didn't symbolize them being smarter than modern humans. The Neanderthals had a huge physique, which was an adaptation for those who lived in cold climates. Although these adjustments worked out for a time, about 40,000 years ago, before they also went extinct. Factors that were studied to have contributed to their extinction include competition with the Homo sapiens in terms of food and resources, climate changes, and population density. The extinction of Neanderthals had a significant impact in the development timeline of Homo sapiens. Now let's talk about the enigmatic Homo denisova, a significant human species discovered from fossils remains in a cave in Siberia. They survived from about 300,000 years to around 50,000 years back. These humans are believed to have mixed with both Neanderthals and modern humans, resulting in the genetic makeup of some Asians in present day. What they look like remains rather speculative, but still their companionship with other hominins contributed to complexity in the history of man. However, just like their ancestors, they did not survive as well, with different climates wiping them out, leaving only sapiens surviving at the end. We can't go on without talking about Homo erectus. They are one of the first humans to leave Africa, migrating to Asia and a part of Europe. They can be dated back from about 1.9 million years ago till about 100,000 years ago. These species were known to have developed complex tools and were probably the earliest hominids to use fire to cook and hunt more efficiently. Such skills enabled them to adapt to many environments and thus were significant in subsequent development of other forms of hominins. Another hominid with unique makeup was the Homo naledi. They were discovered in South Africa and studied to have existed between 300,000 and 200,000 years ago, suggesting that they lived together with the modern Homo species, which raises the possibility of interactions and cultural exchanges. Another pivotal species in human history that lived between 700,000 years and 300,000 years were the Homo heidelbergensis. They were regarded as the direct ancestor of both Neanderthals and modern man. Compared to earlier hominins, these species had bigger brain structures and specialized in the making of complex tools. It is also possible that Homo heidelbergensis might have participated in organized hunting for meat, which suggests complex social interactions, an advanced feature in the evolution of man. Homo floresiensis, often called the Hobbit, occupied the island of Flores in Indonesia between 100,000 years and 50,000 years ago. Hence the name Floresiensis. They were tiny hominids with roughly 3.5 feet in height. Their height made them to be referred to as island dwarf. They made use of stone tools and hunted small games, showcasing a distinct evolutionary path influenced by their isolated environment. Up until now, the dominant narrative among scientists as to how the evolution of hominins spared some of us was more or less like a wholesale replacement of the old guards by smarter newcomers because it is physically apparent that this is the way forward. However, archaeological findings and DNA studies begin to change the minds of most specialists concerning past assumptions. Such evidence showed that it was more by chance than by success that we came out alive. Homo sapiens are known to have the combination of brain power, flexibility, social structure, use of tools, cultural diversification, diet variation, and mixing genes that enabled a destruction-resistant species to develop in the end, while others did not. Just about 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began exiting the African continent, where they originated from 300,000 years ago, migrating to other regions across the globe. Environmental factors and search for food led them to move to Asian territories, Europe, and later reach the American continent. As they did so, they met up with other species of hominins, including Neanderthals and Denisovans. Living in Europe and parts of Asia, Neanderthals coexisted with Homo sapiens for thousands of years. There are genetic evidence of interbreeding between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, which resulted in modern humans being genetically diverse. Many explanations exist regarding the disappearance of our ancestors, along with a lack of conclusive evidence to ascertain the cause of this occurrence. However, some new studies are offering some intriguing insights. What we know is that approximately 40,000 years ago, Homo sapiens remained the fourth and only standing human in a diverse clade of bipedal hominids. Some reasons for their survival were rather harmless, such as being inherently better at protecting their infants than any other hominins, or any of those hominids being pushed to extinction due to climate changes. Others entail a more cruel approach, such as actively seeking out other humans for the purpose of hunting or interbreeding and eventually wiping them out. One of the most exceptional and remarkable traits of Homo sapiens is their ability to adapt. We are quite versatile when it comes to adapting to different surroundings. Living together with other species of humans provided the opportunity to use our resources, which were fundamental to our existence. Homo sapiens traveled the world and were able to settle in all types of climates and environments, with diverse lifestyles complementing many types of resources available to them. Social structure greatly mattered as well, as the likelihood of hunting and pooling valuables increased when the numbers of people present were significantly higher, hence contributing to their survival during harsh conditions. Interaction among different human species may have facilitated the evolution of more sophisticated social forms. For instance, pooling efforts to hunt and forage for food, as well as sharing childcare duties, were beneficial to the society. In such situations, survival becomes easier, as a community working together can provide better protection from dangers and accomplish resource acquisition more effectively. Also, the emergence of the specialized instruments improved their performance in food procurement and protection from enemies to a great extent. As the last man standing, dietary flexibility made a contribution, as different food resources could be used by Homo sapiens. Cultural endeavors enhanced their chances of survival. Such things as painting in caves were indicative of a developed culture, which made it possible to sustain social interactions, as well as transmission of knowledge from one generation to another. It is believed that Homo sapiens closely observed and adapted many practices from those already present in the terrains, such as the Neanderthals and Denisovans, practices such as fashions of buildings and industries of makeshifts. Adjuncts of knowledge and creativity must have resulted in the innovations of hunting methods, construction of dwellings, and management of fire, all of which are important in harsh climates. Interbreeding with other human species also enabled genetic transfer, which increased the adaptability of the Homo sapiens. There is sufficient evidence to suggest that crossbreeding took place between Homo sapiens and other hominids, especially the Neanderthals. This genetic interchange was important for primitive modern humans for survival purposes. It is possible that the genetic features inherited through the Neanderthals helped in building resistance and changed the pattern of life to the one devoid of the affections and the climatic conditions of the native home. However, the cohabitation with other species had their disadvantages as well. There were possibilities of conflicts among the species through competition, thus leading to unnecessary fights. But cooperation and culture among Homo sapiens was probably one of the factors that led to their uninterrupted rise. Organizing people into larger and more complex societies provided a competitive advantage over smaller, and less flexible societies. The Neolithic transition 10,000 years ago also marked changes in modern human society from the usual wandering lifestyle inherited from our ancestors to agricultural lifestyle. This enabled increase in population and the emergence of even greater social life forms. With the increase in the size of social groups formed by Homo sapiens, technologies began to develop. From ceramic ware to metallurgy, a system of writing appeared. Thanks to these and similar innovations, it became possible to control resources and exchange them, which stabilized and expanded societies of people. Agriculture also became a widespread occupation for humanity. Its ascent had many adverse consequences for the environment. Homo sapiens all over the world began to increase agricultural land at the expense of forest cover, leading to a considerable loss of rich habitats. It was during this time that many technological improvements were introduced that led to further urbanization and growth of industries, but this too had its consequences in environmental damage. One reason Homo sapiens emerged as the only surviving species of the human race is decrease in genetic diversity. Inbreeding following the loss of Neanderthals and Denisovans resulted in a narrow gene pool, which helped improve the ability to adapt. Fossil evidence shows that the last Homo sapiens that remained found themselves in a new world distorted because of their predecessors. Even though a great deal of knowledge, culture, and biodiversity were lost, our survival was accompanied by creativity and expansion, which was the most crucial change in the history of humanity. The history of Homo sapiens has demonstrated that the last human species left is the result of combinations of our superiority in adaptation, innovations, and social cohesion. The future of the race of Homo sapiens depends squarely on its ability to learn the relevant lessons from the past and evolve to be responsible enough to help alleviate the prevailing tenuous conditions. Now, we'd love to hear from you. How do you think Homo sapien became the last human species left? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.